Fuck. Shit. And here I'm spilling stuff. You're working at 10 frames per second and no sound. What the fuck? Are you shitting me? I get everything's okay. Read out. According to this, everything's working. Okay, now there's that. Thank you so much. Sorry, my fault on that one. My fault. I go replay everything, but you got sound, and here we go. Starting back up.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Apparently the video is having some issues. Guys, I have had an ass ton of updates in the past 24 hours, and I think that has something to do with it. StreamYard's updated, YouTube updated, the search engine updated, my computer itself had an update all within the past 24 hours. So yeah, it's hopefully everything holds together. Let me know if I'm not coming in audio wise, because let's face it, they all wants to look at me. Anyway, before we go, I got her. And of course, yeah, now it doesn't work. Motherfucker, that was just working. I swear the soundboard hates me. Anyway, we got an MTF guard already starting things off on a high note today. High note. Anyways, with a $10 super chat. And let me rank it. Yeah, see, even my system knows that you're here, guard. He says, is knocking this out early and feel like that clip of me obliterating an M47 is going to be the one of the most remembered things here. Yeah. That and the fact that you are the one who sends me the most actual images for the final say-so at the end of each video. Guys, if you want a particular image, you got to send it to me. Okay, because only a few people I know that you want certain things because they work with you. We got Brian, he's a bike rider, so I try to put everything I can with bikes. I think the next one's maybe going to be Jim Raynor there sitting on the bike going, hey, how you doing? Anything like that. So anyway, let me get a drink here. And we'll go straight into the notes. First things first, thank you everybody who's been with me for the past week and for viewing everything. And I hope you guys have liked that. And we're going to go into the notes in a second. I got to let you guys know, though, right off the bat, no bullshit. This coming week, there's not going to be a lot of content coming out. Simply put, I've got a lot of work I got to do outside, and I mean a lot. There's probably about 6 or 7 cord of wood out here that has to be cut, split, and stacked. And if you guys know, that takes a long time. And it's just going to mean that I'm going to have less time to put anything out. So it's going to be pretty lean. Not that nothing's going to come out, but, oh, hold on. I said the magic word. Let me get out there. But it is what it is, guys. Time is never on our side. It's just the way it is. And like they're saying, why is my camera in the way? Of course the camera's in the way. Anyway, let me move that a little. Regardless, guys, it's just, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and beg you for money when I can't put content out. So if you guys want to go a little lean this week on the chats, no hair off my ass. I still appreciate you guys being here. And yeah, I swear I got to hit every button before I even start to make sure it charges itself. Anyway, we got another $5 super chat from someone who's so outrageous. That's right. It's Erica. And she says, good evening and thank you, Syntax. You are quite welcome.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right because that delayed. Hopefully you guys can hear that. For some reason, the audio settings keep adjusting on me. I swear those freaking updates kind of screw me up. Yeah, I'm glad you put that in, Alan, because I have no idea what AGOST is. I got this. I tried to look up the acronym and I was lost. So if you could just let me know what the hell that means, because on my search I couldn't find it. Next thing on here is, guys, you guys know the author extraordinary GOAT. Say, okay. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you actually putting that out. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Down here on the notes, guys, we got to talk about it. You know, you got the floods, and we actually lost power here because it dumped several inches in an hour last night, and we had some pretty nasty water moving here. But I'm kind of up in the hills, so everything just kind of funneled down where you really don't want it to go. But oh, hold on. But you know, it is what it is. I honestly can't get flooded out where I am because of topography. But hold, I'm not going to throw anything for that one. In any case, as we know, the floods are going on. So if that ends up an area conversation tonight, and that's not normally what we do, it is what it is. All right. Now, did I put that up? No, I didn't. Oh shit. I hate the fact that I could only put so many images up here. So I wanted to put the now on there, but I ran out of room. We're going to go into the notes for the past week. First one was, we have a problem. Call the humans. Yeah, that was just a typical almost zombie story, but I'm like, you know what? Who else is better at taking down zombies than us? We've been practicing for it for years and years and years and years. We just love taking down zombies. Why? Because people have this romanticized idea of zombie apocalypse. The reason being is out of all of them, out of every single one, believe it or not, the zombie apocalypse is actually the nicest post-apocalyptic you can have. And a lot of people, wait a minute, I gotta kill my cousins and my nephews and my mom and all these other people. Yeah, that part sucks. But the reason why it's the most pleasant apocalypse story, and if you're gonna write a zombie movie or zombie story, by all means use this, is the fact that in most post-apocalyptics, your resources are washed away, burned up, blown up. You got to dig them out of a hole. They're just non-existent, but the majority of the population survives. In a zombie movie or whatever you're writing, guess what? You, as the main character, the MC, are surviving in a world with far less people, but a plethora of things to chew on, resources. Every lumberyard is going to be free for you to pick through. Every grocery store, even though things are going to rot and it's going to stink in there, there's a lot of stuff that you can pilfer. When they did 28 Days Later, they actually touched on this. They went into a grocery store, hadn't been touched. The only thing they didn't do was when they walked in there, they didn't go, holy God, smells like Satan's asshole in here. What the fuck? Oh. And
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is right, because speaking of Satan's asshole, SS Demon is here. I'm sorry, dude. That just lined up perfect with a $10 super chat. He says, I have a friend who lives in Japan that backs in the U.S. who I haven't seen since high school. That's back in the U.S. who I haven't seen since high school next Wednesday. So I won't be here. I'll pop in on the super chat, but won't be there for the full stream. Just to give you a heads up, hey, that's perfectly fine, man. That is, I will never say somebody shouldn't hang out with friends or family. You know, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And let me pull that forward so I don't have to reach. But yeah, we'll miss you. But hey, I'm glad you're here. And like I said, I'm not going to demand super chats, but I appreciate it very, very much, along with the rest of you. Now, yes, one person did get the joke in this story. Yes, I did mention the Zohan. I know it's pronounced Zohan, but honestly, I thought the movie was kind of goofy, and it's better when you're drunk. Or as one guy said, if you're not high, never watch Adam Sandler. I don't know. I don't get high. I can't get past the smell. It's just, no. Although I wouldn't mind trying DMT at least once. Although somebody might have to actually chain my calf to something solid. Last thing you need is somebody with, combat experience tweaking the fuck out. Just in case. But one of the things I didn't see in the comment section that people picked up, if you look at this, what the name of the planet was Orida 2. Well, guess who was on there? They're called the Spuds. Orida, fries, and tater tots. Anybody catch that one? I thought it was funny, but apparently nobody in the comments got it. But I wanted to bring that up because I thought, what the hell? All right, I'm not going to spend too much on the stories for this week. Let's see. The next one that came up was, ooh, it's human looking good. Guys, this actually hit me as I was driving because I haven't been to a KFC in probably 20 years. Or no, I stopped at one a few years back, and honestly, it was disgusting. Hold on. Erica's here, so this one, but I stopped at KFC anyway. And honestly, I don't want to look at a man's ass. So that one was just for Erica. So only if she stays in the comments section, we'll put that up again. But anyway, the whole thing about, ooh, it's finger looking good, but how can I apply that? And then this story just kind of dropped in my head. I do have to say, a lot of the original script for this, I had to pull out, no pun intended, because it was just way too spicy for YouTube. I mean, seriously, even if I said it on here, a lot of this stuff would be, I might lose the stream. Beyond suggestive, beyond what I normally do. And you got to skirt that line on this because they're getting really, really weird about all this crap on YouTube. And I mean, they'll take subscribers out. I'm actually down like 20 subscribers over the past month just because YouTube's been deleting subscribers off of everybody. Every content creator I know has been losing subscribers, and we don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Yes, Erica, I'm sure you liked it. Anyway, somebody also put in the comments how I keep using honey as it makes all the women a little, or the other species females a little utsy. Well, honey's been used for what centuries now. It's the reason they call it the honeymoon. At the marriage ceremony, and this is for a lot of different cultures, the man and woman are supposed to be fed honey from the bride's mother. And actually, for the amount of kids they're supposed to have, you're supposed to give them basically a tablespoon of each. The reason being is honey is fertility. I mean, everything in there basically screams fertility out. There's the carbs, there's the proteins, there's the irons, there's the everything you need to produce the fluids required to do so. See, now I even have to skirt around the line. Maybe I should do it this way.
Talk in this voice, maybe YouTube won't be such a pain in
my ass. Ugh. But anyways, I'm not going to do it this time. Anyways, the whole thing about honey, and that's why I use it so much with all the others. Because if you put honey and mix it in with a lot of the food for different animals around, you will get them to actually start going through their fertility cycles a lot faster and a lot more common, which is one of the reasons why honey a lot of times was mixed in the feed for things like goats and sheep and even cattle sometimes when they're about to come into season. It's just to help in that, so that's why I use it so much. Don't get me wrong, let's face it, if you got to lick something like that off someone, do I have to go into reasons on that? And yes, that was one of the things that was actually removed from the original script. All right. For humans, anything can be a weapon. Yes, the comment section was loaded with folks that said this is something that's been done a lot. But one thing I didn't see ever used was the actual planet, Earth itself, being used as a weapon. Now, here's the fun thing. This is going to go into some of the stuff we're going to talk into later, which is the hidden technology. If you know anything about the projected energy weapons, or maybe I'm saying that wrong. For some reason, I just had a brain fart on that. But there are weapons that mainly are in Antarctica, at least if you listen to the whistleblowers, directed energy weapons. Sorry, that's what they're called. They use the ether and the electrogravitics and magnetics and all that other stuff of the planet to actually use these things. The problem is they keep aiming it at the planet itself. Supposedly they had a misfire, and over in Italy they caused a 6 point something earthquake and really fucked up the olive harvest that year. But again, I'd never seen them use the actual planet. Now, the one thing I did not want to do is use the moon, because I've done that before and I don't need another Death Star reference. That's not a moon, that's a space station. How come it can't be both? I mean, come on. I keep using the hollow moon thing and other stuff, and I don't want to overuse it, guys. Somebody said there's a certain formula that I use. With this one in particular, I was just trying something new. I hope it didn't throw you guys off. I hope you guys still enjoyed it. That's all I can really say on that one. That's all I can say about that. All right, the next one that came up this week was something familiar. I got a lot of people in the comments section where they're just like, holy shit. Now, I kind of hinted at this story about 2 or 3 months ago, and I believe War Sniper was the one who brought it up. Yes, I did get to about this part, and I told you guys it was going to get dark. It went from wholesome to dark very freaking quick, and it is what it is on that. So, see, where was I? A lot of people are thinking, oh no, this is the final episode. No, it's not. I'm just going to tell you straight up, it is not the final one. It might take me another 2 weeks to get it written because, like I said, I'm really busy. I have not even got pen to paper on the next one. I know where it's going to go. I know how it's going to start. I just have to get it written down. This one here was 1 hour and 30 minutes long. It took me, that was 27 pages, guys. And no shit, I'm actually reading that because I wrote it down word for word. Like this one that's dropping tonight, this one's all notes. Well, most of it is just notes. I got one line of notes and I actually go off of that. I keep going. I have to back up and make sure I don't have these long pauses like I used to. And that's one of the things with a lot of people who read these is if it's not lined up perfectly, they have to kind of adjust with it. And that's why a lot of these folks like you guys, yes, I did get the story in my inbox. No, I haven't had a chance to print it out and go over it and edit yet. And I don't think Chris is in the chat yet. Anyways, it takes a long time, folks. So by all means, if you're going to make a story, please take your time. The devil's in the details. It always is. You got to be careful because sometimes even if I misquote something, it doesn't make sense for like a whole chapter and just like, what? I don't know. So the main reason that one took so long to come out is, again, it's the summer months and everyone's like, hey, can you help me out? If I had a wife, it'd be honey, do this and honey, do that. War Sniper, I know that wasn't quite the right dragon. However, I wanted to still give you Fernan out there. And yes, I did talk about the wives and how the guy screwed up and thought they were kitty cats at first until he saw the fluffy tail at the end. And it may or may not work together with some of your other stuff. Now, and remember, War Sniper, I told you before, your character is so powerful. If he farted, he could destroy a continent. So I got to nerf him just a little bit. That's the problem with OP characters. Anime does this a lot too. I'm sure you get, and now I kind of wish I had set one up so I had an image of one of the anime characters that's so OP that if he has a bad day, the planet is fucked. And sorry guys, got to adjust this because it's rattling my eardrums. What they like to do, at least with the Japanimation, is they like to use the person's kindness to try and limit their power. Oh, I can't do that. I have the power to rip this apart, but I can't do that. It's going to hurt other people. What if your not human. I mean, it'd be like a human saying, "Oh, I got to take out this enemy in the middle of a city." Oh, fuck the aliens around them. There goes the whole city. You know, you just got to be careful. When it comes to OP characters, you need something to humanize them, or you have to nerf them down so they're not so overpowered. So there was a question that I got like 2 or 3 times at the very end of. I know I'm not really spoiling because this has been out for a few days, but at the end, it's "You will soon be complete." That was the actual line. What that means, you're just going to have to find out. Pure and simple, you're just going to have to find out. And like I said, it is not the final episode. There is much more to come. This series is probably going to take me another like 6 months to finish. 3 to 6 months, I should say, because it takes a long time to write every little section. This, in all honesty, if I had a sponsor, this right here, Something Familiar, by this part 7 would be like the 3rd book. No joke. If I had to write all the different things, because you know how the main character had to learn how to use his new resonance abilities to learn how to massage in the lady. Well, there'd be a full like 3 chapters, well, maybe 2, of him first off learning how to do it right, and then another one where, you know, all the ladies at the workplace, all the entertainers are like, "Yeah, I want you to do this to me because I want to actually have a feeling during that part." And of course, now this thing, I swear, this thing tries to piss me off, and now I got a couple things in there in the wings. They're probably going to go off randomly, but we see Douglas here with his $5 super chat. This is, "Sorry I'm late. Was out with my daughter and niece." Dude, you never have to...
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Ow, that was loud in the earphones. Sorry if that blasted you guys. Sometimes these things are just really loud, and I try to get them set right. Anyway, Douglas, you're hanging out with family. I'm never going to say shit about that. Okay, yeah, I won't say you're late. I'm the guy who used to take over extra shifts so people could have their anniversary or have their kid's birthday. Or in one case, he said, "I haven't had a chance to be with my wife alone and the kids are with grandma. Can you cover this for me?" I said, "Oh, only if she comes into the CQ office when I take over." Guess what? She showed up. So let me get you down, Doug. All right. And we also have a $5 super sticker from Joseph Blush. And here he is. Just to remember, guys, that if you have a particular image you want that for me to use, particular type of image you need me to use, do not send it in the comment section. Send it in an email. It's down there in the Meat Gazer box down there. I saw you looking, Erica. I saw you looking. Anyway, sorry, that was too easy. Anyways, yeah, because MTF Guard, he sends me stuff all the time. That's why I can go through theirs. Erica, she sent me a bunch of stuff. It makes things so much easier for me, and you guys get exactly what you want. Lena says, "Is the main character is a he or a she? Then why do they work in adult entertainment?" Okay, the main character is male. The first, remember, he's had 3 summons. His very first one, when he was 5 years old, was a baby succubus. In that world, your profession is based around the resonant energy that you get from your summons. At that point, when you first summons, the reason why it's usually just like a bird or a puppy or something like that, something very simple, is most people, they don't understand to just let their life energy flow into the summoning circle. Because they don't know that, they don't put a lot of energy in, so they don't get a powerful one back. However, every once in a while, you do get a powerful one, which is why if like one guy, he was 5 years old, he got a bull calf. Well, that's pretty strong for someone who's only 5 years old when most everybody's getting a parakeet or, you know, a little pixie or something like that. Because his first summon is a succubus, and he can't leave her alone. He has to, you know, keep her around somewhere because the familiar can't be that far away from the summoner, not for a very long time, or they can't be away for a long time when they first get there. It's, again, this would be a whole book series. Hold on, I'm about to say the magic word. But what happens is he keeps going around to each different area, and he can't do physical labor because a succubus is not a physical creature. He ends up being like, okay, I need to find work. I need to get money so I can pay for my new child. So he looks around, and eventually he's like, you know what? Fuck it. If I'm going to work anywhere, I'm going to have to work here. And he doesn't actually work in the adult entertainment. The guy's basically a glorified janitor and security guard. He does maintenance, and he helps out where he can, and he's paid for it. Now, later on, as his resonance, or I should say, as she gets older and she gets stronger, the resonance in his body builds up. There's actually a double dose of the resonance. First, when they're born/summons, you get that. Stronger the summons is, the stronger the resonance hits you. And also, when you actually name the summons, you get another burst of that. After that, it just builds up slow. And because, again, he needed somebody to watch over Scarlet, his little baby, that they actually had folks in the back room, people that weren't working, they could watch over her at least for a while, and he could take breaks and go see her and stuff like that. It worked out enough. And again, if it was a book series, there would be some very, very messed up situations, very funny situations, and a lot of. There was one I wanted to write, and I'm just going to let you guys know that when his friend Sven got his arachne, and they started making clothes, literally he has to show how to. Here, I'll put this one on. I mean, seriously, something like the bottoms of that when you're looking at like cyberpunk stuff. No, they were still wearing bloomers, guys. They wouldn't know how to make something like this. So he has to go and actually like hands on, like, no, it's got to be up this way, a little higher over this. And, you know, the string right up the right, you know. Yeah, he's a glorified bouncer. Once he gets older, yeah, he does fight. That's not his primary job, though. His primary job is that of a maintenance man and janitor. That's it. And the mistress just kind of takes a shine to him, and that's how he got the job. All right. Anyway, let me get back to this here. But yeah, just a final thought, guys. Yes, it is going to continue. As I said before, it might say my final summoning. That's because he only summoned 3 times. He got Scarlet, which was the succubus, Blaze, which is a baby phoenix, and I'm trying to remember the names, like Renshin. See, when I wrote it down, I was looking up different dragon names, and I was like, what can I use? What can I use? What can I use? The problem is all the best ones were taken. I'm not going to call it Smog. I mean, that's just wrong. But that's his 3rd one. He can't, it's not physically possible. And if you misfire on a summons, you try again, it'll probably kill you. That's just the way that world is. All right. The last one to come up this week, except for tonight. Yes, there is. Like I said, I wrote one for tonight. It's recorded. It's waiting for this to end so I can do the finishing touches on it. Is the aliens are here, and they're very hungry. And guys, honestly, I know you guys mentioned vampire. That was a last minute change with the biting of the arm. Because originally it was supposed to be how they sat there and explained, oh, we need your energy, and everybody thought, oh no, you're going to take your life force. No, we need the bioenergy that you got stored. And eventually the alien commander was supposed to be like, no, and grab the gut and like shake it, like, no, this energy here, we need it. And I was like, you know what, that didn't have enough, reach out and grab you. So I was like, you know what, he's going to literally reach out and bite you. Wasn't really meant to be a vampire thing. I did change it from the original. Originally, they were going to have like pads on their hand, and they were going to actually spread across the torso and actually suck the fat through the skin. I didn't do that for a specific reason. As I was going through that and I was writing it, I remembered there was a movie that did something similar. I looked it up really quick and I was like, son of a bitch, nope, I'm not going to copy someone else's work. And here you go. That's how it came the way it was. All right, there was a big conversation about the whole adrenochrome thing, about the next species coming up, and that's what they're looking for. Yes, I know adrenochrome is in everybody. It's just easier to find it in children. A lot easier. You can also make artificial adrenochrome, which honestly should be available as an OTC, over the counter, simply because of all the health benefits that come from it. I'm having trouble finding downsides to it, except for one, and that's the fact that you can overdose on it. But seriously, you'd have to put enough fluid to fill up this bottle into your body before you OD. But when you OD, your heart would literally rip itself to pieces. Oh, good one. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one because I'm not a huge Stargate fan there, Demon. I didn't think about that. They do feed through their hands. See, this is why you guys are here. You're smarter than I am. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue on this one. A few people are saying for part 2. We'll see how it goes. One of the main parts in here, I don't know if you guys caught it, but right in the beginning, if there was an alien invasion coming, would our leaders actually tell us? I don't think so. I think we'd be looking at them like the Joker was talking to the mob bosses. What happened? Did your balls fall off? And they're going to hide in a hole. And they're just going to wait until everything's over and done with. And then they're going to come out and say, oh, we're still your leaders. You should still bow to us. I don't think so, motherfucker. That's what a 12 gauge is for. Hey, you come out and start barking orders, we're going to bark something right back at you. And it's going to be probably double-aught buckshot. So that was actually one of the, I didn't see that in the comments at all, but that was one of the main key parts, which is why there was a 3-star general who, by the way, if you you should be having a 4-star up there at minimum. I mean, this is first contact with an alien species. What the fuck, over? And in all honesty, I should have gone with my first instinct and just have a 1-star. Because that's not even division level command. Division command is 2. All right. Let me pull this off here. Oh, excuse me, folks. Excuse me. All right. That's the end of what I'm going over when it comes to everything in the past. I'm good. Oh, shit. That came up really quick. And we have a $10 super chat from the Guardian Sage. And I'm writing down your name here so I don't miss you. Mr. sends me all the images I will ever need to make sure that he's got his shout out. He says, believe it or not, I've heard one other story that has fat vampires. Also, one of the original Star Trek episodes has a salt-eating creature that absorbs salt through its hands. No shit. See, I'm original Star Trek. I've seen maybe 10 episodes. No joke. I never actually sat and watched it, mainly because most of the people in my family when I was young hated Trek, so I never actually sat and watched it. Not to mention the captain, the way he talked and the way he just acted. I'm just sitting there like, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, I know they toned it down a little bit for the movies. It made him a little bit more human, but still, yikes. It was messed up. All right. On to the notes. I'm going to leave the chat just running here, and I'm just going to look over it every once in a while. And I just kicked something. Hold on. Okay. 2 points. Just to let you know, guys, if you were looking on my X account for the advertisements and whatnot, for some reason, my X account got suspended, and I have no idea why. I didn't put anything political on there. All I did was advertisements for this channel. So, yeah, if you guys were looking into that, then it's gone. And I have no fucking idea what I put in. You guys tell me how I screwed up your stuff, to point out what the reason it was. And I guess they wanted to play a game, right? Speaking of which, the winner of tonight, or that's going to be going on for the next one, is Chris, which I don't see in the chat right now. But anyway, on to the next thing. Somebody actually brought up, he's like, oh, you must be a crunchy. Oh, no, you like the infantry too much and stuff like that. Crunchies are what the tankers call us because that's the sound we make. If you guys ever seen Band of Brothers where the guy gets run over by the tank, that's exactly the sound that's made when a tank runs over a human body. It is quite disgusting. And if you do that feet first, they're going to feel everything until the tracks get up to about the chest level where the head is literally going to explode from pressure. And the guy's not going to be screaming at his head as his head is squished. It's not that, it doesn't work that way. But, oh, hold on. But, there you go, Erica. There's one for you. The one thing about the tanks, and this comes into technology, this has nothing to do with the tankers themselves. If you are a tanker, this is not a shot whatsoever. You guys do a really good job in your weapon system. It is the fact that the weapon system is now being proven to be obsolete. It's not fully obsolete, but it's obsolete enough. Why? Because the drones over in Ukraine have shown that that tanks can be easily spotted from the air, and you just have to drop a drone on that sucker and kablooey. And there goes an 80-ton piece of machinery. It is what it is. And just, yeah, tanks are poppers. It's a sound when a round hits a tank, and it'll burn, and the inside will burn. Okay, cute. I actually know of somebody who was inside of Bradley, and the RPG hit absolutely perfect on the ejection port for the ammo, for the dunnage to go out the side, and it went from the direction it went in. You would think it'd take out the commander because he was on the right side, but the explosion blew across him and actually hit the gunner. And he took the whole blast to the side of the face, and that was an RPG-7. That's no fucking joke. Oh, I have a nice bum, Erica? You can't even see it here. I'm just kidding. But anyway, tanks are, I hate to say it, but they're almost as obsolete as actual horse cavalry. Now, here's the kicker. Before anybody gives me shit and says, you're just going after tankers, I am not. The only tankers I would go against is the tanker battalion commander who decided to destroy our entire training budget by ordering a piece for his tank that did not fit. And he decided not to send it back and get the money back. That bastard. That was over in Korea, by the way. Who you with, first tank? It's just that tanks nowadays, they have to change. They absolutely have to change. They cannot take the hits from drones. It's just the way it is. It's not, again, it's not a shot at the people. It's just the fact that your weapons are. It's just like if the infantry back in the day who were using muskets and somebody said that that's an obsolete piece of shit. And you're like, but I can hit something at 150 meters. Yeah, but here's this cartridge weapon, and this thing can hit accurate at the 250 meters. So whatever, but I'm still good with this weapon here. It doesn't matter. Give me that. Here's a different one. Here's an upgraded. It's pretty soon going to be like the guys over in like Lithuania and stuff like that. Their tanks are these tiny 2-person things. Fuck, those things are quick. I mean, you'd be amazed how fast they are. And it's just, yeah. What does he say, guards? You let people post gore, IRL wars, straight up execution, torture, and grape. But the moment YouTuber wants to advertise his stuff, that's where you draw the fuck. Yeah. I didn't know X had explicit content like that. I mean, I'm all for freedom of speech, but come on, guys. There's limits. I mean, if you're controlling the platform, you control what gets put on there. Anyway, I bring all this up because technology is changing. We're finally at the point where they cannot hide the change in technology anymore. It's just that simple. A lot of times this technology goes military and then turns civilian. This time, the technology went civilian and went military. Is what it is. All right, speaking of assaulting things, now this one's going to be actually playing more into some of the stories. If you're trying, now around here on planet Earth, in real time, there are a shit ton of DUMBs, deep underground military bases. Because of that, if there's going to be any real up close and personal fighting, a lot of it's going to be done in those. I look at it the same way as a space station. If you're trying to take the space station, just like you're trying to take a tunnel system, as for somebody who's been trained to fight in sewers, I can tell you there is very few things that will fuck with your psyche more than having to go down that hallway and knowing you can't stop. You have to go forward. And if somebody turns around that corner, you better blast him, because if he gets off a shot, it will go through you. It's going to hit you. You just have to keep going. And it's just like, what in the ever-loving shot rockets is going on? And it is what it is. They say if there's going to be any fighting for like World War III, the major infantry combat is going to be underground, rooting out these military bases. Now, I look at that and I go, not completely true. Unless they are completely encapsulated, all you have to do is find the inlets for the air, plug that shit, or gas it. If they don't have enough filtration system, trust me, they're coming out, or they're going to be puking up a storm. For those that don't know if that would work, just remember how they took care of Fort Drum, the concrete battleship. They flooded that son of a bitch with gasoline, diesel, and then lit a match. They didn't even go in there to get anything or anyone. They just let them burn. Now, if you don't want to capture something, there's always just blowing it up, or for underground stuff, collapsing it, which is what I usually talk about, especially when dealing with insectoids. If you know where the queen is, you launch a rod from God and you basically shoot it right through her face. You know, probably not the first time she got a rod in the face, but anyways, I digress. You know, that's what you got to do. I mean, we have bunker busters that are designed for that. That being said, even our best bunker busters cannot go through several dozen meters of granite. You would need something that can penetrate that deep. And something that can penetrate like that will not explode. It has to be solid. Anyway. Guard saying, like, Jesus Christ, every tank is either paper-thin armor or pathetic gun. Good ammo. That sounds like a tank destroyer. Which, by the way, you guys are lost in the sauce on that one. A tank destroyer specifically is a tank-like vehicle with a much larger gun than the average tank. It is not designed to be raised, elevated to take out aircraft. It is meant to take other tanks down, but has very little armor. All the weight has been sectioned off specifically for that gun. Which is why that video in the beginning, if you look, it's open top. Maybe I should just... no, I won't play it again. I already played it today. Which, by the way, I still have all you guys' videos here. You guys haven't sent me any new ones. None at all. I mean, I even got, well, here's the shortest one I got besides the tank. And this is, well, if you're going to be doing Overwatch, you might want to have a buddy. That's why we don't fight battles alone. Somebody's always got to cover your ass. Okay, next thing on there, along with the change of tech, there's the hidden technology. The one I touch on a lot, I'm sure you guys have noticed, is the healthcare, the fixing of the meat suit. Guess what? All these whistleblowers coming out, you know this tech actually exists because a lot of times they come with receipts that are like, oh no, he's just a conspiracy theorist, so those receipts don't matter, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing is, if you go down in the description box, I've got 2 links. One of them is to the Chubby Sparky, also known as Fat Electrician. He did a video on believe it or not, on toilet paper. And one of the things he went over was the fact that back in the day, flushable toilets nobody knew what that was. They didn't think it was even possible. However, Queen Elizabeth, I'm so much better than you, Queen Elizabeth, decided since somebody had invented this, she's going to take the technology, use it herself, hide it from everybody else, and it was hidden for like 300 years. I'm like, listen to me, you elitist piece of shit. That's not your call to make. I hate when they do this. You hide technology that's going to help people out in such major ways. But what do? They hide it for themselves. Oh, I'm so much better. I want to walk into the area with all those people and say, how many assholes are on this ship? What the fuck is going on? Eric's here. Hey, Eric. And this is why I keep bringing up the healthcare to, I don't even want to call it healthcare, because it's the regenerative, rejuvenative, the destroying all the different types of bugs that are in your system. And don't mean bugs as in insects. You guys know that. Because every virus has its own frequency. If you know somebody has, I don't know, we'll just say pneumonia. Oh, wait a minute. That's bacterial. I don't know, the big one, the HIV. And you know that's on frequency 12121. You just set your resonant frequency on 21212, which is the opposing frequency. You zap that sucker, it's going to bounce back at it, and it's going to shake the viruses so much that they go... It's honestly so simple, it's sickening. And yet people are out there dying of all this shit. And they're hiding it. Why? So they can make money. Fuck them up the ass. Fuck them up the ass with a big rubber dick. That's what I say. Actually, no, that would be their Tuesday, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I'm just bringing this up to show that the technology is there. It is coming out. And like I did last week, the whole thing with Project Bluebeam, that's their way of bringing out the technology and not being held accountable for hiding it since the late 1940s. So, yeah. Also, on this one, how hidden technology, not so hidden, the cloud seeding tech. Everybody's like, oh, chemtrails aren't a thing. It's not even possible. Bullshit. It's already been talked about to death. I'm not going to go too crazy. There's another link down there in the description where fucking Tim Pool, of all people, goes over hidden technology. Now, he talks about the UFOs and stuff like that, but I didn't get to see the whole thing. It's 2 hours long. I skipped through a bunch of it. Actually, I skipped through a hell of a lot of it, but I got the highlights. You know, he goes over some pretty interesting stuff. The Sean Ryan show is actually where you guys want to go. If you want to deal with this subject on a bigger level, he gets some really, really good folks on there who just come up some, I mean, they have the proof. Okay, let me take a drink before we downshift here. All right. As far as movies and videos, yes, I told you to downshift. We got wonderful Jurassic Park Afterbirth decide to drop, and what'd the ratings say? It sucked. It's honestly, I think Critical Drinker hit it right on the head. A lot of these movies, when they're being made, they're not even fully written when the pre-production begins. Because of that, if they want to get something out quick, a lot of times the movie itself doesn't know what it wants to be. They're still adjusting the characters. They're still adjusting the script. Because of that, what's her name? Johannesson, whatever the hell her name is, the pretty lady from Avengers. Everyone's saying this. I didn't even bother watching it. I don't want to watch it, honestly. But every critic said the same thing. She didn't know what she was trying to do. Was she supposed to be super serious? Was she supposed to be snarky? Was she supposed to be flirtatious? Was she supposed to be a joker? What the fuck was she supposed to just like trying to cram all this different personalities into one? No. You know what we call people like that? Schizophrenic. So yeah, and that wasn't even the worst part. They said like the other two guys are supposedly really good actors and they got shit roles. And the story didn't make any sense. And something about a Snickers bar is like the linchpin. I'm like, my brain hurts. Oh, this is so thin. This is just grasping at straws. In all honesty, I know where Jurassic Park was supposed to go. After they originally released the dinos across the planet, it was supposed to change the entire ecosystem of the world. And it was basically going to turn into that comic book called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, where everybody went. There was going to be this huge apocalyptic event, like another asteroid hit. They went down into stasis. They came back up 50 years later. And lo and behold, dinos had taken the world back. And now people are just trying to survive. Now they got to try and work with the dinos and shit like that. Or they got to try and kill them all off. But trying to kill them all off is like pointless because there's just so many of them and the resources are hard to come by because you got to freaking kill these things to get the resource. It's a whole big thing. It wasn't a bad comic, actually. It got a little cheesy, of course, but I mean, it's a comic. But that's the way Jurassic Parks were supposed to go. They weren't supposed to just rehash the same storyline over and 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 over again. Okay, got a little dizzy. But I mean, they want to stick with what's safe. And I'm sorry, but what's safe doesn't work anymore. The first one worked very well because it was almost ahead of its time. The people that made it put extra passion into it. The actors were given the roles and they played them perfectly. I mean, yeah, did they cut a few things out I wish they had kept in? Sure, but that's with every movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, like there was supposed to be a fight scene at the end where the actual T-Rex wasn't supposed to come out of nowhere. Who honestly, how the hell do you miss that thing walking in the front door? It was supposed to be grab the Velociraptor's tail and throw him before he has a chance to turn around because they don't have the ability to turn their tails all the way around and end up inside the skull of the T-Rex. And it was supposed to end up in the skull from the stairway, and the skull was supposed to drop and then slam on the Velociraptor. They didn't have the time. They didn't have the budget to do all that, so that you got what you got, which honestly worked out fine. Anyway, that's enough of me bitching about Jurassic World Afterbirth, the movie I don't recommend anyone go see. Another one that no one is going to see is Ironheart. We already know about this one, so I'm not going to spend too much time. God, it looks bad. Oh my God. Just wow. Just, oh, my brain hurts on how bad it is. Every critic says the same thing. Don't buy it. Don't rent it. Don't watch it. Just let it die on the vine. And apparently the actress of it is now trying to ruin her entire image by saying, if you don't watch it, you're racist. Bite me. As soon as somebody pulls that card, whichever way they're pulling that card, I pull Uno reverse and say, no, you are. And we're done with that. On a lighter note, though, apparently the Superman movie, which I had no plans on seeing, but I'll probably take my dad to go see it because he's a huge Superman fan. Apparently that's doing really well. Apparently it was good. A lot of critics are giving it, thumbs up and everything. So I might actually, go see that one. Although I can give less than a shit about Superman's fucking dog. I mean, seriously, what happens if that thing walks up behind you and sniffs your butt? Is it going to sniff your kidneys out like your asshole? What the fuck? He's got super sniffing and comes up and goes, hi, how you doing? Oh, what is that? Oh, that's your nuts. Oh, that's your liver. It's like, it's got the same powers as Superman. Give me a break. That was a cheesy thing they did for the comics a long time ago. I could go without. But, they want to get the little kids in, and let's face it, who doesn't want to deal with a little puppy? You don't know if you want Crypto to play the game hide the turd on you, because hell no, it might be a kryptonite turd. You don't know. And besides, if it is from him, it's never going to break down. It's a super turd, so it's going to stay there forever. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but apparently they're trying to reboot the Indiana Jones series. Holy shit. I am not a huge Indiana Jones fan at all, but even I understand a classic, just like you guys do. We all know there are certain things you don't fuck with. They were going to try and reboot Back to the Future, and we're like, you do, and we're going to kick your face Back to the Future, as in like 10 years in the future, because that's how long you're going to be in a coma after we beat the shit out of you. Oy. Just do something new. It might take a few years before you find something that's going to be a good series. But guess what? That's what you got to do. You got to try new things. I tried new things on this channel and I'm freaking dying. And I mean, it is what it is, guys. I'm grateful you're all here. Don't get me wrong. I am absolutely grateful that you are all here. Because, I mean, let's face it. If you guys weren't here, I wouldn't be doing any of this shit. I know I say that at the end of the videos, but it's true. Originally, my plan was only to do the channel for about a year, maybe 2. And I was just going to let it go. It was kind of a therapy thing. And now I just enjoy it. I just don't have all the time to sit there every day and write it all down. Superman has always been an immigrant movie. Oh, rage quit the Superman movie because it's whatever. People need to turn their brains off. It's escapism. What the fuck, man? I don't get it. All right. Only got about 2 more things in my notes, and then we're going to go into the chat box here. First off, somebody actually sent in a message, a very long email. Well, I shouldn't say very long email, but a fairly long one. Said they want more series. So you guys ask, you guys get. I will try to do more series. I only got the one that's, excuse me. I only got this one that's up and running right now as far as series. More people were asking for one-offs, so I went back to one-offs. Originally, it was going to be a month on, a month off. Unfortunately, I can't set it like that. My brain doesn't work that way. But I will do what I can to get more series out for you. And if that's the case, don't be surprised if one first episode is all set up. so that all the different details are lined up. Because, like I said, the devil's in the details, man. And who knows? Maybe it'll be suggestive, and you can go. And of course, the button doesn't work when I want it to. Fuck you, you freaking piece of shit. Not you guys, my soundboard. You'll know what it is here in a minute. But yeah, I'll do what I can about more series because, yeah, that's what you guys want. All right. Yeah, that. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is, and this is going to be more in, if there is a series, you're going to get more of this. Certain colonies that will be out there once we start leaving this rock and we start moving out into the ether and we start colonizing different planetoids, setting up space stations, doing whatever we're going to do. Just like the original colonization period on this planet, there will be colonies that are destined to fail before they even leave. I'm going to give you the perfect example. The very first colony to land here on this continent from Europe, outside the Vikings, of course, failed. It failed miserably. It was a socialist community, so basically a commune, you know, without the sex, which is pretty much the only reason that you have one. It failed. They had to get on their boat and they had to go back. That was the first ones that they tried to fully establish. Now, there was the whole Plymouth Rock thing, and they originally were also a communistic society. However, they changed. They had to. They either had to change or they had to die. Going through a long winter up here I'm here in the northeast of the U.S. myself. I can tell you the winters can be a total mindfuck, and they can also be very, very long. They're not super cold. They're just cold enough to make life miserable. So, you know, they weren't ready for that. And you cannot farm off a fucking spreadsheet. It doesn't work that way. It never has. There's far too many X factors. Anybody here who's been on a farm, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be out there every day looking at all the little things and constantly adjusting. And I'm just hoping that I'm alive when they start going out to different colonies. So, we're going to have ourselves a socialist utopia. 6 months after they land, I guarantee they're begging for supplies. Absolutely begging. And as soon as they get supplies, they go, look how good we're doing. We got our supplies. We're all good. It leeches off everyone else. That's just the way it is. You know, I mean, you want to look at the worst leeches everywhere and the worst hypocrites, all you have to do is look at Bernie Sanders. The guy has 4 mansions, and when he was on honeymoon, he went and hung out in Russia. And he got kicked out of a commune when he was a kid, or when he was younger, because he was too fucking lazy. No joke, this is proven facts. So, I am going to be going over here to the chat box. I'm not going to scroll all the way to the top, just about maybe 2/3 of the way. There's, yep, I say about here. Yeah, that should be good. Let's see. Demon here. The thing that bothers me with the Death Star is it has engines. It moves on its own. It can use hyperspace. Space stations are static and don't move. Yep, I brought that up before. The Death Star does not count as a space station. It is a Titan class warship, i.e. Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are designed for massive fleet battles and cannot handle smaller ships, which, i.e., that's exactly what it was. It was a Titan class Dreadnought. Let's see. War Sniper says, Sin, about something familiar. Why did the MC not enter my dragon's realm with my dragon? He was not allowed. The only one allowed in that realm was the dragon itself. I didn't fully make that clear, and that's my fault. I should have made that clearer. Not to mention, the main character thought that for that moment, you got to remember, as soon as that portal opened and they saw that big motherfucker out there, he saw everyone scatter. He thought, oh, he can drop his son off. He can grab Scarlet and he can use the burst from his wings to run like hell and they can't catch him. The only people that could possibly keep up with him were the Griffins and they can get tired. He wouldn't. He could just disappear into the trees. By the time they actually found a place to land the Griffins where they can take off again, he'd be gone. He could disappear. He couldn't take both of them and disappear. It just didn't happen. Not to mention he was being constantly regenerated by Blaze that was still in his heart. Erica says, tell me nothing too bad will happen to Scarlet. You are going to have to wait and listen and...
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is exactly right because we have Sir in the comment section with a $20 super sticker, I guess. How you doing, sir? I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody send the Sir some love and everybody, if you can, if you're not too busy, raise your glasses. Here's Sir is to your health. Let's hope you get over that serious shit you're dealing with. I hope the pain doesn't come to hurt you and all this, and you are, like it says, a bad motherfucker. Thank you very much, sir. I would read something, but you didn't post it. And let me get back up here real quick. Where the hell was I? I don't know. Where was I? Okay. Erica, you're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, it is not the final chapter. Warsnumber says, do you still use Discord? Oh, he's talking to Erica. Never mind. Okay. Lena says, except in Star Wars, using Death Star laser the size of a planet. Well, the laser wasn't the size of a planet, no. But to get that many megajoules of freaking energy, you would need the power of a star. No joke. And people have done the math on that, and the numbers make my head hurt. Let's see. Lynn says, oh, yeah, I answered that. Is the main character male or female? Let's see. Yeah, Lena, you're right. That MC is, like I said, he is a glorified bouncer and maintenance man. Again, that was his main job. Demon said, it is bad that my idea of calling for possible flash floods. Oh, is it bad that my idea is calling for possible flash floods and I'm hoping my job floods? There's a small... Yeah, dude, you've clearly never been near one. Honestly, they're the creepiest shit. And I'll give you a quick one because I've been around flash floods at least a half a dozen times. And once you learn how to spot them, you see the warning signs and that's your cue to get the fuck out because you can't stop them. When I was in South Carolina, and I have to hold on a second because I see another $5 super chat from Chris. We were wondering where you were, Chris. And, it's fine to be late. We had a long chat about different stuff, like the changes in technology with the tanks and the drones and hidden technology and stuff like that. And then we hit some pop culture stuff after we went over, just the standard stuff over the week. So, let me, again, scroll back up here. There I was. But yeah, the flash flood over in South Carolina, and this is when I was a drill. I actually saw, no joke, the flash flood starting. I went over to the truck where that platoon drill sergeant was actually hiding from the rain. The only person besides me who was out in that fucking storm was another infantry drill like me. And we're like, hey, Hey, Depano, your folks are about to get flooded out. Take care of it. Okay, I will. She didn't move. She didn't budge. Even when I told her people were getting flooded out. And by the way, that water was so strong, it could have actually picked up one person and dragged them down the hill. It wasn't strong enough to actually kill anybody, but it was enough that they're going to lose equipment. They're most likely going to go hypothermic. One idiot actually laid in that shit. He's like, oh, it's not so bad, Drill. Get your shit up and move. Go that way. Find a spot. I don't care. Don't worry about the shape of the patrol base. You just get away from this fucking water. But their drill didn't even want to get, I'm afraid to get wet. I've honestly, every time I think about this, I keep thinking about Davy Jones at the end of the Pirates of the Ha! You're afraid to get wet. I can't do that line for shit. But, oh, hold on. But it's still a funny line to say. And yes, I only have 3 butts, guys. I only had so many spots to put pictures on. Let's see. Yep, they're talking about the feeding through the hands. Yep, I tried to stay away from that. Let's see. Tesla science supports energy transfer via hands as contact points. Yep. Actually, that's the whole point or thing of grounding. They say to go hug a tree when you're barefoot. Well, you're actually putting the energy field from your body is being output through your feet. And also, as you hug the tree, you're actually putting it into the tree through your hands. At least that's the idea. You'll actually find most people that ran around as a kid barefoot, you actually aged better. It's kind of a weird thing, but it is. Doug says, my daughter told my grandson will be about 8 pounds and around 20 inches when he's born in October. Ow. Just, ow. There's nothing else to say about that. You know, I kind of wish I had put on the soundboard the Doom Guy scream for that. Just, I know it makes you want to call your mom and say sorry. Anyways, come on, that's an old joke, guys. That's seriously old. Anyways, Lena says, well, politicians always speak false promises to get elected, then serve the global agenda. Yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. The good ones are either forced out or they magically disappear. Look at Ross Perot. It's a open secret that they actually kidnapped his grandchild, or at least one grandchild, made them disappear for a few hours, then dropped them off, and that was a warning. That was a look what we can do to you if we want to do it. I'm like, you sick bastards. And he was just smart enough not to say, I wish he had just gone on and said, they did this to my family. And that would have caused a revolution back in the 80s. I'm dating myself. Oh, why would I date myself? Even I can do better than me. Let's see. Erica says, I was thinking that your vampires are going to be like the Wraith. Okay, yeah, it's doing that. Let's see. Lena says, I don't really like drones, but Russians got a lot of practice at disabling tanks. Yeah, they're actually they're focusing more on wired drones, which that's going to take a couple of years to actually clean up because those wires are really thin. You got to go in there with actually really thick clothes or go drive across those fields when they're dry with vehicles to pick up all that shit because it doesn't degrade. It's being a let's face it, the technology's there. Is just every technology has a counter. Then there's a counter to a counter. Then there's counters to that counter's counter, and it's just it's a back and forth and back and forth. That's why the survival onion is only like 2 layers, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Erica says, trust me, I'm a bum girly. Now you got me worried. Make sure you're never standing behind me. You know, that whole thing that the Asians did for a while where you put your fingers like this and you walk up. You're supposed to yell something and then you just kind of shove real hard. And it was actually interesting. Some idiot tried to do that over here. I think it was, it was either DC or New York. No, shit. Sorry, it was in Pennsylvania. So it was one of the Pennsylvania cities. Some guy was from Japan. He thought he would do that to somebody wearing shorts. That dude turned around and the guy's like, ha ha ha, wham! Said it broke the guy's jaw and knocked out a couple of teeth. I'm like, hey, he deserved it. Surprised, but no. Okay. Let's see. Douglas says they have to equip tanks with something they have in black budget, basically shields. One of the things they gotta arm them with is basically a type of AMS anti-missile system. They actually have this. I'm sure you guys have seen it. The laser for the mosquitoes. If you haven't, it's kind of cool. And the laser only goes about 10 feet. And they can do something a lot stronger with this for the drones. The problem is the wired drones need an actual direct fire weapon. The remote control drones can be jammed. Like maybe Raspberry, I don't know. But yeah, the thing is, when the actual technology level we're supposed to have is finally released, a lot of things are going to change, not just civilian wise, but militarily. A lot of equipment is going to be considered so obsolete, no one's going to want it. Now, it's still going to be kind of hard to knock down an A-10, but things like the F-16, F-18, if you don't have a pilot that can push that airframe to its absolute limit 100% of the time, it is going down, and it's going down hard. The actual missile tech that can move the missiles literally as they're flying straight, alter them in like omnidirectional, you can't get away from it. Once it's locked onto you, you're not getting away. Countermeasures or not, it's going to be thinking AI on that sucker. It's honestly freakish. But as far as basically shields, they're not going to be like you see over on sci-fi. The amount of power for that, unless they're using 0-point energy, no, they won't have it. Let's see. Guardian says, sort of like how battleships are largely a thing of the past thanks to aircraft. Yep. I guess the majority of future equipment will be focused on anti-aircraft and focused on anti-drone capabilities. Abso-fucking-lutely. They do have a type of anti-drone cannon that is a adjustment from the, how to put this? The original idea was if an RPG is caught coming in, this cannon would turn and fire an explosive and was supposed to detonate right around the RPG, forcing the RPG to prematurely detonate. I'm sure every guy here understands premature detonation. And save the crew on the inside. Something very similar is supposed to be used for drones right now, but we're talking about a 20-year advancement at least. So I'm sure it should work better. I say should, but should's like if and maybe and approximately. Big words with really small letters. Demon says, yes, X has everything on it, and I mean everything. Really? I'm almost never on it except to advertise, so I don't know. I'm only like follow like 3 people, like Musk and Peterson and Trump and stuff like that. It's fun. Anyway, Guard continues, as much as I love tanks, technology is just evolved and advanced to the point that their style of fighting is pretty much child's play. Yeah, actually, the one thing that used to piss off the tankers a lot is once you understand how a tank operates, we fucked them up so bad in Korea, it was funny. There is still a tank over there that has a purple swatch on the side because one guy decided to get so close that he was able to basically place a smoke grenade in between the hull and the turret. And when they turned the turret, it got lodged in there to the point where as it's spraying the smoke, which is basically a burning chalk, the tank commander went out and he's kicking the damn thing, but it's wedged in there so tight he couldn't get it out. And now this is just this big purple streak. And now there's, thanks to an NCO I was with, how he made this shot, I still don't know. We both threw at the same time. I heard mine clang right off the turret, and he drilled a 3-pointer right into the hatch door. I'm just like, what? We look over, and the guy's screaming and yelling and reaching down, trying to grab the thing. They get really hot, by the way, when the smoke grenades get. So if you're grabbing it with bare hands, you got about a half a second to get rid of that thing before 2nd and 3rd degree burns happen. And they finally get it out, and they want us to go in and scrub their tank. And we're like, it's your tank, your problem, dude. You want to play the game? Let's play the game. And I wouldn't say it's fully child's play because they will still have a place, just not the way they used to. Just like Bradley's, you have to use them different than the way they were designed. Let's see. He continues with, especially when you have a drone with a mortar attached to it, flying at 40 miles an hour directly into the top of your turret. Yeah, right where the armor is the weakest. Still not cool. Lena, you can still equip a busload of missiles on the battleship. Remove the 18-inch guns, install 5-inch guns. You are good to go. Yes and no. They are still going to leave at least one turret with the 18-inch guns on it. Yes, they do have a purpose. Once you're within approximately 25 miles of a shoreline, those guns for guys on the ground like me are a fucking godsend. Not to mention, every once in a while, you want to delete a mountain or sink an island. And yes, they're good at it. Would they need multiple smaller guns, usually computer controlled, like maybe 8 Sea-Wiz? Sure. Yeah, that would work. That would work really well. Me personally, if it was up to me, the second gun would remain because that's the one closest to the center of the ship. The front of the ship would be nothing but vertical launch tubes. And then the back would either be a whole bunch of vertical launch, or it would be a landing pad for helicopters, or preferably both. Kind of like the destroyers do. And there you go. But, it's not my call. Douglas says, speaking of sewers, there are things in some sewers that scare the fuck out of me. Yeah, they throw a bunch of those New York rats at somebody. Believe me, they'll run. Let's see. Guard says, so I decided to start playing Sweden. I regret touching them. Okay. Okay, yeah, I read all that one there. Let's see. Guard says, I like the IKV 103, literally speed demon tank destroyer with virtually no armor with a short acid gun, but it has heat rounds from the 80s. Yeah, for those who don't know, heat is high explosive anti-tank, specifically designed to peel the armor of even an Abrams back like a banana peel. And they work. Let's see. Lena says, traditional tank destroyers are turretless. Yes, they had a slight movement on the guns, and they were usually open top. You have to rotate the whole thing to move it. We don't build those tanks anymore, and you can destroy them with artillery. Well, you can destroy most tanks with artillery. That being said, they did serve their purpose when they were there. Now, I did notice somebody showed me a video of these games for the like Star Wars and 40K and stuff like that, where you just set the scenario and they just kind of go at each other. They actually had one. You only saw it during the Clone Wars movie once, where it actually raised its turret, but they fired at a ship. That's not what its design was for. That thing has almost no armor, and that gun is nasty as fuck. That is a tank destroyer. They just happen to aim it a certain way. Let's see. Demons all there. Let's see. Every time I see your name, I want to play League of Legends. Yeah, I think he's talking to you, Draven. Let's see. Demon, too many storylines that do not need to be there, and too many look that this is from an older movie. It's in it. Must be missing the context. See, Guard here. So probably one of my favorite videos out there is literally called GTA 5, but all your characters are schizophrenic. Speaking of videos, guys, hold on. Let me put the banner up. Don't forget to make sure you are still subscribed. Now, I actually saw something on my feed today. It was one of those vlogs, like the Sasquatch vlog, but this was aliens. Like, what is it like to go against humans? It was fucking 8 minutes long. I watched it. I was laughing my ass off. And then I was like, how the hell do I compete with this? Holy shit. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I've always said it. Technology is going to put all of us out of work eventually. And it looks like it's going to slow me down a lot because it's hard to fight against something like that. They got the visuals, they got the jokes, they got everything. Now, I can't write jokes like that all that well. I mean, you guys know I can do some of the jokes, but I try to stay away from the line so I don't accidentally cross it. Okay, sorry guys, this thing jumped up. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Lena says, you can't really milk Jurassic Park. There are like 10 islands. As far as I know, there was only 3. Maybe I missed. It's been a long time since I read the book, so. Lena also says, you made me watch the critic reviews on Ironheart. That show is hilarious. Let's see. Guard, y'all hear about how they made Superman political with the Superman story is about accepting immigration because is it really? I know they did that with the Lilo and Stitch movie. I just didn't want to bring that up because, I tried to stay away from the politics, but it always slimes its way in. I know I talked about politics earlier. But that's crazy. I mean, come on, Pete. If that's what it is, I don't want to see it. If I want to see that sort of shit, I'll turn on the news. And the news isn't even news anymore. It's all, Jesus Christ. Let's see. Demon says, it's hard to turn off the brain when almost everything gets turned political and thrown in the face to the point you see it when you are not even looking for it. That is absolutely true. A lot of these movies I can't watch anymore because of this. Every time I see somebody, even if they're an awesome actor, sometimes I just think diversity higher and I can't enjoy it. And I'm like, I hate the fact that my brain goes there. I really fucking do. That is why whenever I talk about a main character, I don't describe them outside of their biological sex. That is it. The rest is up to your interpretation. Now, there are a few exceptions to this. When I did Are We Human Anymore, that the main character was, I'll let you know that one of the inspirations was one of those video games. I forget which one. It was one of the CGI ones. And the character is now blue. He's like a blue elf type thing. But he's the guy, he started off like this big brawny dude before he went in the tube. And then he came out and he's like trying to, he's still really strong for his size, but he's very, very skinny, very petite. And it's just like, what the hell? But that plays into the fact that somebody screwed around with things. Maybe I'll do that series a little more. I got to go back to some of the older series like Ambush Predators and continue them, guys. I really do. I haven't been doing it, and I do apologize for that. Guard says, I mean, I still watched the movie and I enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And that's like, I like a good creature feature. And I hear people next to me going, that's not realistic. That's not, it's a creature feature, motherfucker. It's Godzilla, for crying out loud. You really think something this big could actually survive? No. Not in this gravity. Guard continues, about the damn director, he had to open up his goddamn mouth about oh yeah, y'all watching the pro-immigration movie and like, and you liked it. Yeah, you're right, Demas, because they can't keep their fucking mouth shut. I can't watch a Liam Neeson movie anymore because that asshole couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut. Oh, nobody should have firearms. What was your last movie again? Wasn't it Taken? Well, I'm taking that out of my movies and using that as pull. Psh. I think I still have one of those, but honestly, I could tell that he had a hand in the directing portion of it because he should have had his whole team on the very first one, but nope, it had to be all about him. Bite me. Let's see. As Jetstream Sam from the Maxor video from the incorrect summary, Metal Gear Solid drag from the dungeons. Shut the fuck up and be quiet. That was actually kind of the inspiration of one of the older stories I did. Shut up and get behind me, sir. You know, or the same briefing I've gotten every time I get into an airframe. Sit down, strap in, stay there, shut up. Let's see. Leonid, yeah, I knew something was going to happen with Superman's dog. Are they going to do something? I don't know. Wasn't Crypto supposed to be introduced later on because he arrives in his own shuttle, just like Clark's cousin Supergirl? Which, by the way, they keep fucking up her. Guys, I actually wrote, no shit, a full-on DC comic layout of a full new character, okay? And I was actually challenged to write it. I think those of you guys who've been here before, you've heard me talk about this. I'll just give you the Cliff's Notes. I was challenged because they didn't think I could write. They said, could you write something better than what I'm reading? I said, yes, I can. But they didn't want me to ruin Star Horse for them, so they said for the JLU, Justice League Unlimited, United, I don't know. I had to look it up. I wasn't a big reader. But the main character being used as an experimental guinea pig, basically, they gave him superpowers, but they didn't know exactly what they gave him. They were just jamming him full of all sorts of shit to see how much his body could take before he mutated or it killed him. And he had to bust out, and the one he busted out of the containment area with was two other characters that we know, which was Ace. Everybody knows that from Batman, and Power Girl. However, that version of Power Girl was not the future version of Supergirl. She was the clone of Supergirl, which is why the main character keeps calling her Taya instead of her full name of Galatea. But because she's still a clone of Supergirl, she has a lot of the same traits. And because she has the same traits, I'm like, okay, this kind of works. That being said, that's why if something happens to Taya, not saying anything might have, whenever he actually sees Supergirl, the first thing he does is he grabs a bottle and he upends it. He does a full Robert Downey Jr. and he just drains the whole bottle because he can't mentally handle it. Now, don't get me wrong. The character is OP to a point. He's got to get really pissed off before you see it. That being said, or I should say, but one of the things that just makes him go into the bottle is if you talk about all the stuff that he's lost. The character's been alive for like 800-900 years, and he dimensionally jumps. So he's gotten everything he wished for many times, and he's always lost it. So PTSD real bad. But Supergirl is one of the characters I don't think they should fuck with. I mean, just don't. They already screwed up with the previous one. Since when has Supergirl ever had black hair? That's like a blonde Wonder Woman. That doesn't work. Ugh. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting on that. Guardian State says, I could focus on the miniseries and spin-off series for stories that you like us and us watch enjoy. Okay. Guard, they already tried to reboot it. I'm guessing Indiana Jones. And with that one, with the girl, it failed miserably, especially when she says right to his face, "I'm you, but better, and also a woman." Oof. You know what that reminds me of? That cringy line from the Batwoman show. It's, the suit is literal perfection. It will be when it fits a woman. It's like, just shut up, woman. Just the arrogance in that. And I'm sorry, arrogant people need a freaking boot in the ass, because you get arrogant, especially in a combat area like that, you're going to get yourself hurt, and you're going to get other people hurt with you very, very quick. Guard says, I have possibly the most annoying Rat King in the game. Now from the AML 90, things got early 2000 heat rounds and just rips right through anything in front of me in half the time. Yeah. There's Sir says, I always like the ambush predators that you wrote. Well, glad you did. I'll have to dig out all the notes and refresh myself and go into it. I should have been doing it like a month ago, but everything just gets being pushed to the side. And sorry guys, I got some little bugs in here that keep itching me. Let's see. Guard says, at the cost, I am literally an armored car with the max of 9 in the frontal armor. I don't think that's much. Eric here says, I'm honestly tired of remakes. We all are. There's a lot of good books that can make decent movies. The Legend of, was that Jizz? Would be something I'd love to see if done right. I don't know what level of jizzle here. I don't, is it Drizzit? Drizzot? Drizzle? Ooh, okay. I'm done making fun of it. But yeah, I'm sure there are plenty. And it's like I said before, if there was anybody who runs across this right now and says, look, we're going to pay you for the, we'll pay you room and board while you write this, and then say 30 grand on top, takes you about 6 months to do it, and then you fuck off and go back home, I'd probably do it. You know, come help us write a movie. I'll do it. I got no problems with that. I will only say, look, the director can be there, but he needs to shut the fuck up. The producer can be there, but they need to shut the fuck up. If they open their mouth and say, we have to do it this way, I'm going to tell them, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Lena says, I know that the colonists went and joined the native population, but that's another story. Yep. And I'm glad you're feeling better, sir. Let's see. Warsniper says, why was the main MC? Oh yeah, I read that one. Yeah. My dragon would have allowed him in again for the story. It was just a 1 second decision. It is what it is. And honestly, that part about him being a father, that's why the main character had read about that. He's also going off information that he has, and he knows that he can appeal to that part of the dragon. That's why he said it. That is my son, not just my familiar. That is my son. You know, and that plays in, deep into the heart. War Sniper says, in my story, my dragon is now having 31 wives and 5 to 10 concubines because I talk with many AI versions of anime women. Okay, I know where your mind is going. Wow. And that's actually one thing with the AI and everything. I'm glad that certain areas are going to be taking a major hit. I hate the fact that I'm going to be taking a hit, but sometimes you got to give a little to get a lot. And things like the website that starts with only and seems to have a lot of fans, I'm going to be glad when AI puts them out of business. I truly will. But, you know, a lot of people are they're fighting it. They're fighting it like crazy. I'm like, you can't fight the technology. You either go with it or it's going to overtake you, period. It's happened so many times in history. It's nuts. But what's really going to be happening, and they've tried this several times, is I think you guys might have heard they tried to do these quote unquote cyber brothels in Germany, and they tried to do one in Canada. And not only were they actually saving women from having to do that kind of work, they were actually saving people from going to the hospital, and they were actually knocking the STD rates into the fucking toilet. So yes, I don't see a problem with it. But some people apparently do. Well, that's my work. Get a different job. If this totally goes bust, if YouTube kicks me off, I'll just find something else. That's just the way it goes. I hope they don't kick me off. But then again, if they're attached to X, you never know. That's going to be a big baby. Well, if you're talking about that dragon, he already is. If you went from snout to tail, he's actually longer than the MC is tall. You got to remember, when he looked at the egg was big enough where the guy could actually get in and squeeze himself in. And that's his perception from the outside. In actuality, you just got to remember that the dragon inside, right before they hatch, any even bird, they're in there real. I mean, they're condensed in tight. They're twisted in ways that will make Gumby scream, and they just kind of break their way out. So yeah, he's going to be quite large. Let's see. Leonid says, when you're writing Kitsune, you need to do the whole thing. Fox mask, 9 ghost fireballs, 9 tails. I don't really, well, how do I put this? You might see a little bit of that later. As far as most Kitsunes that I write about, they only have the 1 tail. Main reason is because that's a lot of tail. That's more tail than even I can handle. Oh, you guys said that last time when I had a Kitsune's ass on here. Well, as a woman cosplaying, but still. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I had to scroll up because it looks like Doug partiers didn't come through. I got partially. It says, or in JFK's case, he caught a high-speed projectile. Yeah, he got a JFK haircut. War Sniper says, and the first mate. Okay, still talking about his dragon here. And the first mate, Shinano, in my story, told me that 31 wives are the limit, but I still can mark women as my concubines. I'm sorry, dude. You must be producing fluids at a level that even boggled the mind for 31 wives. I mean, that's literally more than 1 per day per month. I mean, that's just, yeah. Seriously, it would be like you've been drained by a succubus. You'd be nothing but skin and bones because you'd be a husk that would be completely drained of everything. Let's see. Erica said, also, JFK was off for trying to be a decent statesman. Yes. I mean, yeah, he couldn't keep it in his pants. Everybody knew he was fucking Marilyn Monroe. But still, at this point, everything coming out about her, who wasn't fucking her? I mean, she was passed around like a football, which I don't think was cool. That's messed up, but that's rich people shit. But yes, he actually stopped us from going to war twice. And he was trying to actually get us away from the federal, away from the Fed, the Federal Reserve. And that's, a lot of people say Executive Order 11110 was the death stroke, because the day that his replacement came in, that was the very first thing he did. He pulled out that executive order and he canceled it. First thing he did. And that's telling us too much. Demon says, one woman love is hard enough to keep happy. 2 is really pushing it. Anything more than that, just no thanks. Just way too much. Well, all right. Side note on this one, guys, and this I found it funny because I started looking into the different animes, and yes, the spicy ones as well. And it didn't take more than a quick image search for each of these to figure out exactly what the magic number was going to be. 4 guys. The absolute limit is 3. Why 3? 1 for down below, 1 to make it hard to talk, and another one to take a break and make you a sandwich. For women, it's 5. 1 for each hole, 1 for each hand. I'm not even kidding. That's what it came down to. No pun intended. It's just, I guarantee a few you just went, either laughed or went, oh, that's disgusting. Yep. Try being the one who has to figure out the numbers by going through all that shit. It was just messed up. But that was, I had to be on debate on somebody else's podcast, and he's like, can you figure this one out? I was like, okay, give me a day. All right. Chris says, for the wire-guided drones, sent out an advanced party with scissors to cut the wires when the drones pass. You'd have to literally cut the wire as it's flying to disrupt it. It's like a tow missile. I mean, those things fly so fucking fast. Granted, they're like 1.5 kilometers long. Or no, what is it? I'm trying to remember exactly how long those wires are. They're really freaking long. They're a lot thinner than the old tow missiles. But yeah, if anything happens to that wire on the way, suddenly it just spirals out and crashes. Because I know that's exactly what the tow missiles did when we fired them. I was actually on the line, and my track was ready to fire next. Guy next to me, I watched his toe go up. I'm outside the turret, and I'm watching him like, oh, this ought to be funny. And he fired, and the first one, bullseye. Second one, it went, and all of a sudden, it spun, and then it came back up and then flung back towards us and didn't explode. I literally dropped down. I'm like, drive her back, drive her back, drive her back. Now, back 50 meters, go. And just right off the hill. And the range was shut down after that. We had to wait for EOD, and they didn't show up until the next day, and we didn't have the time to deal through anything else. So we're like, okay, whatever. Let's go take this thing out. Let's see. Lena says, I will probably go start watching second season of the anime with vampires. I don't know which one. I am lost. I just don't have the time to sit and watch them. Yeah, a couple that I hear good reviews on that came out this past season. Others, middling. Let's see. War Sniper says, in RL4 is max for me, but first I would be the queen in rank with the other women, or have listened to her. Okay. Let's see. Dose says, one of the reasons North Korean missiles keep failing is there are those jammers over their airborne. There's those jammers over there and airborne lasers that cut into critical systems. A lot of those lasers at that distance don't work, just because I'm trying to remember the name of it, but the lasers do not stay condensed. They will break open over time, and once they get to a certain point, they're completely ineffective. You would have to hold on that one spot for so long that it doesn't matter. It's cooling faster than you can heat it. But at short range, the lasers work awesome. Okay, Chris, I'm not sure I should read something about premature, but okay. See, Sniper says, sorry about me not using points. The end of my sentences, my grammar's bad. Dude, I don't give a shit. I'm going to read them anyway. See, even Demon says, yeah. Erica says, Musk has joined the black guy community, sadly. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't quite understand that at first. However, from what I understand, it's supposed to always be the left eye. Musk was right eye was damaged. So does that matter? I don't know. All I know is there's some shit about that. It's weird. It's just a weird thing, guys. I don't I don't get it because I'm not in that area. I do know there's always secret societies that want secret society shit. And I kind of wish we would just let certain people off the chain and we could take care of some of these secret societies that really need to be drugged out of the shadows, kicking and screaming and preferably bleeding. Now, case in point, if you guys, again, watch the Sean Ryan show, he had a hacker on there. He was showing a bunch of devices, and he was asked how fast could he find every one of these, how do I do this? People that are looking to do naughty things with people that are not old enough to do naughty things. Okay, sorry, guys. I got to talk around the YouTube shit. And yet, how fast could you find them all? He goes about less than 5 minutes. And I was like, really? Doesn't the FBI just want to go collect? Would you have evidence? Yeah, I'd have all the evidence. Everything you need to convict every single one of them. Why don't you do that? FBI doesn't want to do it. How about the CIA? They don't want me to do it either. They want to have blackmail, guys. And it has something to do with it. Maybe that has something to do with the black eye community. I don't know. All I know is Musk is a very weird guy. Weird by our standards, but maybe what he does would actually make sense if we were in that situation. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay, Demon says battleships could still have a use. It's just not good luck. Protecting them, old equipment can still be useful, but they require more upkeep and protection. They need a full refit. Now, I hate to say it this way, but in reality, it's cheaper and it's faster just to build another one. Reason being is you would have to not only redo the weapon systems, you have to redo all the electronics, all the distill, so they have fresh water. Pretty much the entire thing would have to be gutted to include the engine compartment. And it's just that much time on one ship. You can build 5 or 6 smaller ones to do the exact same thing. Plus you have more assets to work with. It's the difference between buying one Death Star and 15,000 Star Destroyers. I mean, it doesn't make sense unless you are needing that particular weapon. By the way, those who do not know anything about Star Wars, it was actually designed to fight the Yuuzhan Vong. The Yuuzhan Vong actually had actual planet-sized ships. That weapon on the Star Destroyer was meant to make it a short battle by systematically destroying their planet ships, which were actually looked like big. If you've seen the drawings, it looks like a hurricane from the top, kind of how it spiraled. That's the way it looked. It was a big disc. But if you can one-shot that sucker, you've just taken out most of their fighting ability, and now you can actually face off with all the other cannons. Those big guns they had on the Star Destroyers, Yuuzhan Vong only used big ships. So it would have been a very one-sided fight. That being said, the way he was being a dick about it, and he didn't just tell people, hey, look, we have this big, nasty group coming. We need to get ready for them. Maybe you all ought to get motivated. By the way, they're going to be here in this amount of time. By the way, I'm a Sith Lord. I can see them coming. I know what they got coming. Oh, wait, here's disclosure's a wonderful fucking thing. Even in science fiction, they just, the truth is right in front of your face sometimes. But yeah, to redo the New Jersey and the Mo and everything like that is just, you're better off building another one. Don't get me wrong. You put them in a battle group, they still keep up. They're surprisingly fast for their size. Anyway, War Sniper says, I'm good in the speaking, misunderstanding, and in some way decent at typing, but it's impossible for me to learn the grammar, for the grammar in my home language. Okay. Demon says, American English is my only language, and my grammar and spelling suck. At least you have another language. What's my excuse? That's true. I only speak 3 languages, guys. English, bad English, and infantry. So, yeah. If you guys don't know, we're the only people that can say fuck 15 times in a 12-word sentence. And it makes perfect sense when we do it. Erica says, things found in the sewers. Rats, cats, raccoons, possums, alligators, and assortment of cryptids. Yeah, it's true. Doug says, there are documented cases of critters in some sewers where the sewer maintenance team has to be armed. Cryptids, gators, and yes, giant rats. Every time I think about those giant rats, I keep thinking of the running gag that Ron Williams said. You know, throw those into the caves in Afghanistan. You got an AK? Give me a break. I eat pussy literally. Was that raid? You know, it's like, Douglas says, Erica, when I was born, I was 8.5 pounds and 21 inches long. Seriously, dude, call your mom and tell her you love her. That just, ow. Then again, all us Americans are need to slim down a bit. I've looked into that some, and it turns out here's something. It's real simple. It's not just the quality of food; it's the amount we put down. If you look at the American small soda and compare it to, say, a large in Japan, the American small soda is actually bigger than their large. They don't put the calories down. That's why they're so fucking thin. Well, that and some genetics, but still. It's like the same thing when I was in Hawaii. A lot of native Hawaiians that I knew, because their genetics were set up for things like pineapples, coconuts, fish, and not much else, they kept very thin. Now that they're on American diets, a lot of them just get big. I knew one guy, he was Samoan. He kept saying, man, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. As he's sticking his hand in the McDonald's pouch, I was like, you do have any idea how many calories are in that? Yeah, but it tastes so good, man. So don't complain that you're fat, but I'd like to lose weight. We've all known people that are like that. Demon says, the too many storyline comment was talking about the new Jurassic Park movie. Okay. Yeah, there's always stuff like that. Let's see. Leonid, we got plenty. We got Panty and Stocking Season 2 before GTA 6. I've heard people say Panty and Stocking is actually really funny. I've never seen it. Ever. But a lot of people tell me it's really funny. But it's also just dirty. Like, seriously dirty. Yeah, I'd say that's a big child. Chris says, with the story I'm working on, feel free to run with the mentioned seasons that I'm not writing for. There is potential with Florida Man and the Waffle House staff. You'll see. I believe I got what you sent already, Chris. I need to print it out. Eric says, Ambush Predators was what got me into your channel. Well, got a lot of people. It's actually outside of Battleships. It's the #1 series that I've got. Well, that and From the Dead Zone. But that was because that one was so damn long. Let's see. Demon says, the new Lilo and Stitch movie made me mad with how they ended it. It's supposed to be about family sticking together. And they broke it apart because Nani had to go girl boss. Oh, had to go girl boss. Oh, girl boss. Ruin the movie and ruin the movie entirely for me. Yeah. Ambush Predators, good series. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and that's why on the shirts, that's why it's on the back. Let's see. Guard says, okay. So since the message didn't send complete, the GTA thing pretty much, it literally makes it every cutscene, everybody but your character visible, and it cuts out their audio. I've seen a few like that. That's actually becoming more common. I don't know why, but it is becoming more common. I guess you're supposed to think what the audio actually is and like hear it in your own voice. Whatever. Some people like it, some people don't. Guard says, so it looks like your character is talking and looking at no one. Which character? Oh, so if they're not okay, if you're not, yeah. I listen, I don't get it. I don't write things that way. Alan says, on Ambush, you could run the guest slots on parents. Oh, yeah, do it generationally. That was the original plan. The problem when you get away from a main character that you've been following through the entire series, that's literally playing Russian roulette right there. You don't know which one of the chambers. It might end up being really good and it might suck. So that one, when it switches over, and especially when you have a time jump, you got to be real careful. Okay, Leon says, which version of Supergirl are you talking about? There are at least two. Oh, there's a lot. With every single different type of Justice League or Superman, they have a different type of Supergirl. The majority of Supergirls are blonde. They start off with kind of that cheerleader outfit, and they eventually, with the shirt that, basically half her boobs are sticking out, which I thought was silly as a child. And then she changed it to a slightly longer skirt with the long sleeves. But yeah, she's always been blonde hair, blue-eyed, very, very thin, but she's actually stronger than Superman. Pound for pound, that is. I mean, he's still bigger, he's stronger, but because she spent more time in the stasis pod rotating around a star, being very close, her musculature is even denser than his, which is the only reason why she can actually stand up to Superman and almost beat him. She's very, very close as a young girl. When she's an adult, she can actually stand up toe-to-toe with him and in many cases beat his ass, which is kind of funny. But when they did the Snyderverse there with Michael Keaton as Batman, they went and got her, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is this androgynous? What the fuck am I looking at? Seriously, what am I looking at that point? That looked nothing like her. It acted nothing like her. It was, I don't know who the hell wrote that. And I was just, my brain shut off and I'm just like, nope. Okay, for some reason, it's doubling up the comments here. Chris says, Power Girl is armed with ballistics. Really? How's that going to work if she can dodge and catch bullets? Lena says, standard, the white outfit. Yeah, I thought it was a little revealing for her. But then again, it was originally for young boys, which is why originally Power Girl, when you meet her, she's actually the future Supergirl, got sent to the past, which is why she cut her hair, which she had to use her own laser vision in a mirror to do, which is why it's supposed to be a little lopsided. But she actually changed herself, changed her person, or didn't change personality, but changed her name and everything like that to make sure that she can, still be herself without being herself. Which is also why she still had the white kind of onesie thing going with the titty window. But that was kind of a nod to her old self. Hence the standard white outfit. Demon says, I'm getting them mixed up and I'm not sure. They're easy to mix up. Don't take that personal. They're easy to get. Bite Me, he's here. Hey, dude. Hey, late for work. Hey, we're, I don't know how much longer we're going to be on. We've been on for over 2 hours. We're going to keep going, though. Let's see. Demon says, I really need to finish updating and fixing my AI story. Okay. And by the way, your fleet, I'm going to have to nerf the shit out of them or it's going to be a really short story. Oh, shit. I went over it again. It's just like, are you kidding me? Let's see. Yep, everybody's saying hi to Bite Me here. Eric says, It's a Forgotten Realm series. I have trouble with the name too, so your pronunciation of the name is as good as any. Okay. Lena says, I remember the Russian Imperial Army probably had a few fights with Native Americans. That happened. Yeah, from what I hear, yeah, when they were crossing over the Bering Strait and whatnot. I don't know much about that, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. War Sniper, I love those 9 tails. I want to fluff them. I'm sure you do. We all know your affinity to fluffy tails. And of course, grabbing all the tails, just like you're holding legs, and you kind of pull it in close. That way you got a good angle. Sorry, honey, I slipped over and over and over again. Okay, Demon says, depending on lore, they grow more tails the older they are. Some one every 100 years, some one every 1,000 years, depends on the lore. Yep. Also depends on their power level. Usually their power level grows up over time until they have their final tail, and then it never gets any higher. Alina's, so you want an anime with 100 girlfriends? I'm sure there is one. Yep, even worse. I heard about that anime. I'm sure it's on a spicy website. Demon says, I just realized some people's chats are not showing up for me. Now this making sense that I keep randomly getting lost while you are reading chats as I follow along. They are not showing up on YouTube. Dude, some of them aren't even showing up on this end. I'm getting partial comments. So don't take it personally. Says the anime is kind of funny with 100 girlfriends. Yeah. I know one that's actually kind of G-rated. That's the more recent Tenchi one that came out about, I don't know, like 5 years ago or something like that. Maybe a little longer. No, it was longer. Where apparently his half-brother, who is not Jiraiyan in any way, shape, or form, but somehow has the blood, that doesn't make fucking sense. The reason why Tenchi is looked at as someone who is so valuable is because he is the end of his bloodline until he has children. Thankfully, they did finally have one where he started plowing through those 2 girls from the original, and he started popping out kids with them. I'm like, dude, how long are you going to, keep it in your pants? These girls will literally rip your pants off, belt included, to get at what's underneath. And there's still the funniest line from Washu. Let's shake the dew off this lily, shall we? While she's trying to get a sample. A sample. Anyway, at the one where his half-brother goes to the school, you'll see what I mean by the end with the girlfriends. Okay. Lena says, I started watching an anime with VTubers consuming. It's really good design. The VTuber stuff, like I said, it's going to put me out of business, guys. It's funny shit. It's fucking hilarious. It's still going to put me out of work. It is what it is. I can't compete with that stuff. Let's see. Lena says, my vampire anime is called, hold on. Let me do this right.
The Call of the Night.
Hopefully that works. Why do you think the Epstein client list is never coming out? Because there's too many powerful people who do not want to be implicated to include multiple royal families. And they're now saying it doesn't exist. No shit. You don't think they have the pull to do this? It's all about favors there. They want, seriously, they literally will take it up the butt as long as they're getting a reach around. That's how they believe, oh, at least I'm getting something from this. No, you're still getting screwed, dude. Everybody knows it exists. It's out there. I think they offed his wife or girlfriend or whatever because of that shit too. So I wasn't going to get into that. And all I know is these are the type of people that they delay, and then start saying, what does it matter now? It's been so long. It always matters. Okay, Guard says, I heard that's a decent anime.
Call of the Night.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Demon says, Palpatine was so smart. He was dumb. He was so cunning. He screwed himself. So he did the Why did that? I swear these freaking buttons. They should be working and they're not. And I swear about it because now I can actually hear through the headphones. My computer's spinning up trying to do this. So by the end, Palpatine was
Congratulations, you played yourself.
pretty much. He got drunk on his own power. That was the whole point of it. Call of the Night second season is out now. Guys, you're talking about stuff I don't know. By all means, put it on here. I'll tell people, but I'm at a loss. Lena says ricotta is better than Yuzhan Vong. I don't know what ricotta is. I know what a regatta is. Doug says I have lost 20 pounds and cut A1C down to 8.1 from 10. I don't know what A1C levels are supposed to be. I don't know. But I will say, dropping 20 pounds, that's congratulations, man. As for somebody who is now fighting his weight, I can tell you that is not easy to do. It takes a long time. For those that actually want to lose weight, just remember, you get on the regiment, you stay it. There are no days off. There are no cheat days. And here's the key. You got to remember to focus on the overall goal so you don't lose focus. Hold on. But you also have to remember that when you first start cutting weight, you're going to cut water weight first, which is going to cut a lot really quick. But then it's going to be like, oh, I'm barely losing any weight. That's actually the speed you were going at. Losing water weight is easy. I can do that over the night. Hell, I've been doing that today. It's been so fucking muggy and everything outside. I'm sweating like a whore in church on Judgment Day. Wars Never says, I still rock the shirt when I can. I got from good. One of these times I'm going to wear the one I got. I still got a couple, but they're like smalls. I couldn't get any like double or triple X large. They just don't make them. This is crazy. Lena says panty and stocking is like an American anime made by the Japanese studio Trigger. The English dub works very well. Okay. Guard says panty and stocking is just hilarious. Okay, that's what people say. I haven't seen it. And some people are just saying it's dirty as hell, but it's funny as fuck. And there's Erica with the congratulations for Doug. Yep, very much. Let's see, Lena says, I've seen Supergirl parody where she is acting super crazy. It's kind of funny. Okay. Demon says, I figured you'd nerf it. Again, you got to be careful with OP characters. And in your case, it's OP technology. And it's technology that heals itself. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to be wore down over time. I would actually have to take out the auto repair function to do anything. Let's see. Demon says, that's something that bugs me about most anime. Oh my God, I'm terrified to touch a girl, even though we love each other. The trope drives me nuts. Okay, here's where the trope comes from, guys. And I didn't know this until I talked to somebody who actually lived in Japan for several years. And not only that, he was living there when he was at high school age. And he was looked at as almost a pariah because he didn't follow their cultural norms. There are so many steps they have to go through in the early dating process. It hurts me. I have trouble figuring this out. You can't even just walk up to somebody and ask them for their number. It's considered not kosher over there. But over in Japan, like even Taiwan, Korea, and all those other places, as soon as in many families, as soon as you pop a girl's cherry, you take responsibility. You are now basically their husband. You don't have a choice. If you get her pregnant, you are definitely fucked. If you marry her, then your job, whether you're considered a husband or actually a husband, your life is to provide for her by going to work 20 hours a day. You might be able to see your kids once or twice a month. You might be able to fuck your wife 2 or 3 times a month. That's about it. If you don't work that many hours, you are chewed out and you are told that you are not a provider, not a true provider. You're not a real man. So then this is what's causing a lot of the herbivore shit going on over there. That's just, it is what it is. They look at it as a prison sentence. If I even grab her by her tatas, then guess what? I am now responsible for everything ever. That's the whole thing about I can't get married anymore. That's the same thing. That's the old way of thinking. It's still there in a lot of their culture, and they just emphasize it more in their animes. But a lot of these guys are afraid to even touch women because of that reason. They're afraid that they're going to be completely incompatible with this woman, but they're going to be responsible. They won't be able to even look at another woman ever again, or else she's going to basically tell him to kneel on the ground and beat the living shit out of him, and he's socially not allowed to do a goddamn thing. That's where that comes from. It's just a culture thing, and it makes me sit there and go, how do I describe this culture? Well, let me just put it in the most technical terms I can. It's crazy. Hey, Ava's here. Hey, Ava, how you doing? And just because Ava's here, I'm going to throw on something, but she might not like it. I hope she does like it, because honestly, I do not want to look at this thing in my face. It's just not my thing. But there you go. Ava's been working out 2 days, working out 1 day, recover, repeat. Okay, as long as you're keeping with your regiment, that's what's important. Let's see. Guard says, God, I hate that anime trope too, where the MC has all these girls around. Yeah, he never makes a single damn move throughout the entire anime. And the weird thing is, you'll actually see when the guy does make the move, she gets embarrassed and usually punches him in the face. So it's like, you can't win for losing. All right, let me see how many people are still watching. Makes me wonder how many people we got here. Okay, we still got some. We're still riding strong, so we're going to keep going. Let's see. Guard also says, I'm glad that some animes have completely broken that trope, but there's still a lot that doesn't. Or this guy has 20 girls trying to crawl on him, and he only wants this one girl who treats him like ass. Yeah, I never understood that one either. I just, again, that's got to be a Japanese culture thing. To me, if a girl treats me like shit, I'm like, okay. And I just walk away and I don't talk to them unless I'm friends with their friend. And side story, which I hope you guys get a kick out of. I was friends with a woman. We actually became friends because we were in the same apartment building before she moved, but she only moved like 2 complexes over, so it wasn't a big thing. You would think, oh, Sin, why didn't you make a move? Well, she liked the ladies. And her lady friend was a total, what's the word I'm looking for? Bitch. Just absolutely, positively, chip on her shoulder, bug up the ass, hair stuck somewhere, bitch, the whole time. I don't know why. After I realized that my friend was not into guys, I didn't make a move on her. Although God help me if I actually offered to give a massage, which would, oddly enough, she's the one who taught me. And I'm trying not to use my friend's name because I don't want to call her out. Anyway, she taught me how to do massage. She was an actual massage therapist, which is actually how she met her girlfriend. But that's a whole nother story. Well, every once in a while, I would pull out the table, do her legs or something, pop her shoulder, whatever it had to be. And her girlfriend would come in just fucking screaming and swinging. I'm like, look, right now you're trespassing, so you might want to calm the fuck down. So as a joke, during, I think it was like their 3rd year anniversary, I went to the adulter store and I was like, I even asked the ladies behind the counter, I was like, what would be a funny gag? So we went over, got some gag stuff and things like that. It's like, what's going to be hilarious? And then I told her about the girlfriend, and they're like, oh, try this. And one of those plug devices, I was like, really? They're like, do this. It's going to be hilarious. As I'm giving the gift over to my friend, I tossed this plug over to her girlfriend, said, here you go. She's like, what am I going to do with this? I said, well, you've always been a pain in the ass to me, so there's a pain in the ass for you. Everybody started laughing. She whipped that thing in my head at probably 90 miles an hour. I literally see it slow motion going past me. Dented the wall, actually. I'm like, God damn, what the hell is that thing made out of anyway? And the only problem is they broke up like 2 months later. Oh, that was not a fun time. I guess maybe I didn't cross a line. Maybe my friend realized that she was dating a total witch. Anyway, I thought you guys might find that. Anyways, back to the comments here. Palpatine hired a Sith Lord who hired a bounty hunter who hired a shapeshifter who hired a droid who hired bugs to kill. And wow, that's a lot of levels to go through. I never thought of it that way, Lena. Oh man. At least she would not die from sadness or being alone. That's a lot of levels. Holy shit. Whew. Let's see. Guard says, damn, something's happened there for a minute. Did something freeze? I decided to exit out of the app of the video just to see if it would run. Okay, yeah, you had to refresh. I've done that with some of the guys. I watch their podcasts every once in a while. It just freezes. I don't know why it is. It's just one of those things that happens. I don't know if it's a cross between StreamYards and everything else. It is what it is. But one of the things it might be is the comment section. When that gets filled up a lot of times, I think you guys are seeing it on that side, but I see it over here. When the comment section gets filled up a lot, then it tends to bog things down because it's taking up a lot of RAM space. It is what it is. There's other ones I've gone through where you can actually post pictures and everything on there, and usually I have to refresh twice in a 1 hour podcast. It's just one of those things. Technology is just not there yet. Or I should say the technology we can use is just not there yet. Okay, Guard continues. He says, but when I came back, the live stream notification was no longer there in notifications, and the video was not in my history. I had to literally look up Sin's account and click on the profile. Dude, I have actually seen this. Now, here's what I do. One of the things, and I actually did this originally to try and plus up my channel. Standard cell phone. I have a separate account. Okay, I have the Crazy Uncle channel, and I got this one. This one is still hooked up to the Crazy Uncle channel. So what I'll do, not being the first person to view or comment, that's you guys' job. I'll go on and say if the video drops at midnight when I wake up in the morning, I open up the YouTube feed and it should be the first thing there. For at least 3 or 4 days, I've had to actually go into my own channel, look up videos just to do that. And this has been linked up as in the very first subscription to the Syntex channel. YouTube is pulling some bullshit, guys. I don't know why they are. Maybe they just don't like people who speak their mind. Maybe they just want to focus on the bots. Maybe they just want to do the chat GPT shit. I don't know, and I don't give a shit. All I know is they're just making things difficult. Chris says, hey, that pick for Ava was Navy bait. What did I Ava, did you put something up? Aha, okay. Never mind. I see what you're getting at. No comment. Let's see. Demon says, I have to leave for work now, sadly. Sadly. Oh. Again, I won't be here next week. So take care, everybody. Take care, Demon. Make sure you're careful on the roads. There's a lot of storms going through, guys, so definitely be careful on the roads. Look, if you guys can't see the asphalt, for the love of God, slow the fuck down. Hydroplaning is just as bad as sliding on ice. And honestly, if it's more than 2 or 3 inches deep, it will take your car off the road. A truck that is not loaded will also go right off the fucking road, which is why if you actually look at military vehicles, their tires are very narrow for their size. You would think they'd be a lot wider, but they're narrow for that specific reason. They're also got very deep treads so they can actually dig into the mud and push forward. The thing is, you can never have the exact right tires for the exact right terrain. It just doesn't happen, which is why military vehicles tend to sink very easily, which is the reason actually why, believe it or not, Russian tanks have that log on the back. That is so if the track gets stuck, they can take the log off the back, they put it in front of the tracks, so it's actually pushing down, elevating the tracks, it goes over, and then by that point, they should have enough speed to just throttle up, go over, and take off. It's one of the simplest things ever, but damn, it works. Okay, Lena says, Japanese comedian described it personally. Yes, we are misogynist to our wives. Yeah, they kind of have to be. If you're not, then in a very traditional culture like that, you're not going to get very far. Lena says, have you seen the Spaceballs 2 parody that makes fun of the sequels? Barf, we are home. No, I haven't seen it. What was his name again? Barf. Well, not in here. It's a Mercedes. Which, by the way, my nephew's Mercedes just fucking died. Why? It's a Mercedes. They suck. They used to be good. They're terrible. And they take forever and they're expensive as fuck to fix. But he thought, oh, it's a Mercedes. It's going to be nice. No. You're paying for a brand name. And when you do that, you're actually just buying junk. Lena says, I hate walking on a single biome planet. Yeah, it almost doesn't make sense. But the thing is, that's something I make sure in each of these, unless it's a specific type of single biome, like a frozen world, okay, or a what's just considered hostile planet. I'm not kidding. That's actually what it is. It's a dead world. It's a rock. You know, Mars is considered a hostile planet almost because it still has the snowpack. But aside from that, it's, you know, you look at Neptune or you look at Uranus. Actually, I don't think you guys can bend enough to see that, but those are just rocks. Officially, Venus is also a single biome planet, but basically the entire planet is an acid-filled washing machine. So yeah. But if you have anything with life on it, if you have islands, you got multiple biomes because you got the trees, you got the beach, you got the water. So there's 3 right there. It's easier to find a single biome planet, but those are usually just devoid of life. Ava says, the pic reminded me of some people in my polycule. But for now, I gotta go. My girlfriend is sick. See you later. Oh, shit. I think I might have spooked her away with that story, guys. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Urgh. See, I got nothing on people who want to be on the other side of the fence, so I hope she didn't take that thing I told her about the Friends X serious. Guys, I hope I didn't just kick the friggin' bouncing Betty with my nuts. That'll be bad. Ava's cool. Ava's always been awesome. And you guys can tell her I said that. I hope you do. Anyways, Demon, I'm sitting here at a red light. Hold on. But my drone fleet is meant to be self-sufficient because it's not meant to stay in its home galaxy. It's meant to start colonizing other galaxy with no support from its home. Exactly. That's what I mean. It's a self-sustaining system. Just like I think it's one of the Stargate ones, the ship that used to fly by a star and soak up part of the plasma that's there, and that was its fuel source or something like that, and just kept going for how many eons? Yep, you're right, Alan. Visit as you can, Ava. Lena says, so you basically want a starship that accelerates at half of light speed or half of impulse with inertia dampeners installed on them. Well, you kind of need inertial dampeners because it take a long time to speed up and slow down if you don't. And it probably crush you if you don't. And everyone's saying bye to Ava. And Lena says, I am 3 minutes behind right now. Okay. 3 minutes from the time you put in to the time you show up. I don't know what's going on that one. And we have finally reached the bottom of the comments here with Chris saying, oh, by the way, any thoughts on the reverse in current in the Southern Ocean? I haven't even looked into it. I'm gonna. Oh, I went to mark on my pen. The pen came apart. That's messed up. There we go. I'm gonna write a note on that reverse Southern Ocean. Look, the weather is being weird. I think certain people are fucking around with weather modification, and they honestly don't know what they're doing. They're like a kid with a shotgun for the first time. Oh, look at this! It's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, and then next thing you know, they're gonna either blow their foot off or shoot one of their friends. And if they just fire off in the distance, they'll just recock it and go, "Oh yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? Let's do it again." They gotta calm down with that because the solar cycle and everything like that shouldn't be this screwed up. And I can tell you that the weather's been really, really questionable around here at least. And it's made it very, very difficult to actually grow any vegetables in the garden. Now, granted, my peppers are about yay big, and the beans are about yay big. My peas, I only have 3 plants that survived. I had to replant the watermelons. The squash should be vined out 6 feet in every direction. They're only about that tall, which is bullshit. The tomatoes look decent, but they're not flowering. It's all the weather, and the weather's been kind of weird. I mean, it is the cycle time for things to go a little, like I said, but I'd like to get some sort of harvest. Granted, the pumpkins look great. They finally just exploded. They just took off. I got one vine that's actually going where it's not supposed to. I might have to pick it up and try to bend it somewhere so it doesn't cause too many problems. War Sniper, I gone to sleep too. I need to be awake and say, okay, I'll see you later, War Sniper. It looks like most everybody's taking off here. Chris says, there's a salt bloom in the water as well. I'm starting to wonder if it's the bloop. Everybody heard about that one? I don't think that's an actual biological thing as far as a giant sea creature. And if it is, it's a friggin' Leviathan. And if an actual Leviathan surfaces, guys, you might want to grab a Bible really, really quick. Let's see. Ava says, this is why we don't play games with the new toys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lena says, it's probably easier to establish a colony on Venus rather than going to Mars. Actually, no. It's actually easier for Mars because Mars might not have an atmosphere, but at least the atmosphere isn't trying to dissolve you. The atmosphere on Venus is just absolutely toxic. And it's, like I said, it's almost completely acid. If you were actually able to breathe there and stand there, your body would dissolve completely in about 20 minutes. It's absolutely horrific. Now, provided that the information we have is accurate, but it's whenever they send a probe to Venus, They only get a few pictures before it dissolves enough where it can't transmit anymore. The battery dissolves, the wires dissolve, all the seals dissolve. They can't go, like the Mars rover's been up there for Lord knows how many months, and they're able to get all these pictures and videos and all this other shit. You can't do that on Venus. You have a very, very short amount of time to get the information and get it out. So it's actually easier to work inside a non-existent environment than it is to work in a hazardous environment. Lena's up here says, I wanted replicators from Star Trek, but I got replicators from Stargate. Okay. Why not? All right, guys, we've been going for about 2.5 hours here, and it looks like we're at the bottom of the chat. So I'm just going to throw the banner up here real quick. As a reminder, don't forget to hit the likes. Do not forget to make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. Make sure when everybody jumps in, you say hi to them and, show them some love. You guys, thank you so much for being here. And before I go, you guys know how it is. I got to make sure that, well, first things first, let's end on a high note with a high shot.
That's short. Adjust up. Shot fired. Target destroyed.
All right. And while that was going on, it looks like everybody is saying good night. Guys, I will end with the safety brief. You guys know you always got to get a safety brief at least once a week. Safety briefs have actually stopped me from doing some really stupid things or stupid people. All right. As you guys know, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat their fucking ass. It's better to explain to the cops why you just broke your buddy's nose than it is to explain to their spouse why they're not coming home. If your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. Be careful on the roads. There are a lot of critters. It is now to the point where the fawns have started to go out on behind their mothers. Okay, if you're in anywhere where there's deer, if you see one, there is more. There's always going to be more. If you see one, just slow down immediately. If the person behind you gets pissed off, let them be pissed off. It's better than having one of these things stuck in your grill or coming through your windshield. It is what it is, because, I mean, hell, I just saw a video of somebody who ran into a horse. Somebody was riding down in the middle of the night. Why they weren't wearing reflective gear or whatever, but both the little girl on the horse and the guy inside the car were both lucky to be alive. The horse didn't make it. All right, make sure if you guys decide to partake in anything stronger than the alcohol, you better invite me before you do it. Because, manners. And don't do it without me, even though I might be on the other side of the planet. And I say that because I want to see you guys here. You guys are, hold on. Oh, shoot, I don't have it here. I was going to have the you guys are awesome up there. But all I got is, how many we got in here? We got the best ones. How many assholes? We got the best assholes here. You guys are assholes just like me. And I really wish I could put more pictures on here, but for each of these, but I can't. Anyway, take care of yourselves, everybody, and I will see you here next time on Syntext Live. This is your host, punching out.